My name is Patrice Duckett, and I am a professional community organizer. And yes, we do get paid to do this work. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what my community is doing. Not about my job, not yet, maybe another story later, but about my community, about my street. So we were going to do the eyes closed thing, but I can't do that again. Thank you very much. So I want you to vision a half of a block, not a whole block, half of a block, dead end street, 8 houses, right? 8 houses, 2 abandoned houses, to leave 6 regular houses, right? Half a block. Okay, now think about this. 19 kids in this half a block. 19, 6 houses, ages 17 to 4. My son is a 4-year-old. Yes, he is adorable. So all of these wonderful kids in this small area, playing, screaming, yelling, busting out windows, busting out car doors, busting out back door windows, mine 3 times. And we had a wonderful time, though, right? In our community, there was no arguments, no fighting, just a whole lot of kids that love hot dogs and ice cream and cake and water hoses with a lot of water. So behind my house, there's this big, huge 1.5-acre land that's been sitting there dormant for so many years. So these 19 kids that keep busting out my windows, we told them all the time, go to the back and play in the field. Go play in the field. Go play in the field. So they would play in the field, but the field, of course, was owned by the city or by the state. So once or twice a year, you'll see the grass that'll be all the way up to here. And so for us, that's high. For the kids, oh, that's playground. So they're in there and they're playing through the fields and they're running through the grass and there's bugs flying all up at the top, but they're still running through. So when they get home and they scratching and itching, we're like, what's wrong with you? Well, we've been out there and playing. They're having a great time. And so we finally decided there's something that we have to do for this. We have to give them some outlet to be able to go out and play. So after we complained to the city, please come and cut the grass. Oh, we don't own it. The state owns it. Okay. So I called the state. Hey, can you come and cut the grass? Oh, that was outsourced to the city to cut. We don't cut that. Okay, fine. Go back to the city. Okay, city, I called the state. The state said they don't own it. Well, city said, well, that's not really our property. That's the property of you and your neighbors. Okay. So then we have to go back to the county's office and say, where's our boundaries at? So then we find out, no, that's not our property. That's your property. So we go back again to the state. Okay, state, cut the grass. Okay, we'll cut the grass. Cut it once. Summer's over. We're like, okay, forget it. We got to figure out something for next year. New year comes, we try it again. Grass comes up to here once again, right? Well, luckily that year, we had the drought and the 80, 90, 105 degree weather. And so it kind of killed itself, so we didn't really have to worry about it. But now the kids are taking these high stake grasses and pulling them up and switching and hitting each other with. So we're like, okay, we really got to figure out something to do. So in between time and meantime, we're doing all of these wonderful things like having story night out there in the field, or we're having a water balloon fight with the kids. Then one of the fathers that live across the street with the 7 kids in his house, he goes out and he teaches a whole team to play football. So we basically have a football team at our corner, and we're ready to play. We just need to be suited and booted, and it's time to go. So we have a football team in the backyard, and as they start playing football, then the street on the other side of us, to the west of us, then they start bringing their kids along. Then I found out, yes, we have 18, 19 kids on our corner, half a block. Remember that, half a block. And so this whole block that goes to 29th Street has 17 more kids. So now we have this big influx of kids all in the backyard playing football. Then we started coming up with plans of what we should do all summer. So, of course, me being the organizer that I am, I figured out we're going to have this big week summer program. So we have football, we got baseball, we got kickball, and then we got frisbee tournaments, of course. And then some kind of way I can't get them off the sidewalk. We have this tournament called street ball, or not street ball, what's it called? Curb ball. Has anybody heard of curb ball? Okay, if you've never heard of it, this is I'm gonna call it stool ball. Okay, well, I'm gonna call it a hood game. That's what we play with in the hood. So what this means is they stand on both sides of the sidewalk. Gotta have a good sidewalk here. Now, new sidewalks are on our street. And you take the ball and you throw it over, preferably a basketball because it bounces back easily. Throw it over and try to hit the curb. And if it hits the curb, it should bounce automatically right back over to the person. So they get 100 points, 200 points, whatever you want to call it. They call it when they're throwing it out. Now, of course, you get the big bonus points if you wait till a car rolls by and you throw it over the car and it bounces back. So if you're ever in a community and you see kids out there playing and throwing balls over, they're not trying to hit your car, they're just trying to get some points. So we couldn't keep them off the sidewalk, but we can get them into basketball and football and kickball tournaments out in the back. And then, of course, during my son's birthday party, because he was the only child at the time, we would have the big bouncy gyms back there and the swimming pools and stuff like that. And then the community started really forming because we had all these kids playing all the time, that we would have ice cream sundaes one day. One of the moms would cook pizzas one day. I've always had ice cream, the frozen ice cream sickles in the refrigerator where they come knocking on the door and say, hey, can we get our ice cream now? Like, I'm supposed to do that. So, or I have this overly nice, just so sweet young boy who just doesn't believe that no one should be thirsty. Mom, but they're thirsty. So I'm always giving them something to drink. So now I keep big Gatorade containers and I just fill it up with Kool-Aid or juice or whatever and put it outside and let them drink it all summer. So, I have to say this, long story short. So what we started to do, the mothers and the families that are over there, we started forming together to say we need to do something and develop a park in the area. And again, being the community organizer that I am, knows all the resources to get it done. So I bring all of the people to the table. I have the mayor liaison, I have my state rep, I have my city county councilor, I have my senator. Yeah, I had the senator at the table, and I had the mayor liaison and the neighbors sitting there and saying, okay, we want a park right back here. Then they said, okay, we'll make it happen. So we said, okay, well, we need you to do it. We can't do that. That's not our property. So we start all over again, trying to figure out where the state is, who the state is, and who we can get. So then we go back. So then I call again another meeting. Mayor liaison, city county councilor, the senator, the KIB, which is Keep Indianapolis Beautiful. Yeah, they're going to do the park for me. I'm already thinking this as a community organizer as I am. Then parks, Indy Parks, yeah, because they could just put it into their park systems, and then we'll have to worry about taking care of it, right? Had all these people at the table. Okay, fine. You want a park? Go ahead. But none of us can do anything. So, I had to go back again and figure, this is 3 years now, figure out who can talk about the park. Who owns the park? Who can we talk to? And we finally, last year was able to talk to somebody from the state to come in and talk to us about this park. So now we get to actually start developing it and get to move it around. Okay, so everything starts moving, get the meeting together. So now I have people from the state realtors part, the state office, the state acquisition department, city county councilor, my mayor, liaison, my city county councilor, the senator, state representative, and the neighborhood resident president, and all the residents. So then we start talking. He's like, oh, yeah, we can just give it over to you. You want that property? Yeah, we want the property. Okay, fine. Well, yeah, we'll give you that property. And how about another acre and a half down the street? And we're looking like, well, we don't want that. Well, we're not going to do anything with it. You might as well do something with it. We're like, oh, we didn't think that far. Then, wait, okay. All right, give it to us. We'll figure it out. Being a community organizer that I am, I started working on that part too. So then I started getting my elderly neighbors and said, hey, we got this big old stretch over here right in front of your house because on the Indianapolis street, there's nothing but elderly people. What do y'all want over here? Oh, they was like, oh, well, let's get us some benches, and we want a walkway, and we want chessboards, and we want fruit trees and a fruit garden. I'm like, oh, I can get all of that for free. Let's go. So we finally was able to get the property. So we thought we had the property. So 3 months later, oh, you get the property. We don't want it. You can have it. Matter of fact, how about we do this for everybody in the city that wants to change over some state property that we're not using over to parks? Fine. Let's move. KIB, we asked them, we're ready to do our park now. We got our ideas together. We even asked the person who did the Martin Luther King, if you ever been down Martin Luther King, the development, we asked the developer of that, the designer, Meg Storrow and her family, and people to come and do it for us and design this wonderful park. Oh, we had a great park. We still got a great park. It's still working. We got a storytelling area, so y'all can come and tell stories over in our neighborhood. We have benches. We have fruit trees. We're going to have swings. We're going to have tires, stands that go all the way up that we can help recycle with tires, give back to the community. We was thinking about all of this stuff. So we're ready to go. We got our design, and everything's good. Then they said, we can't give it to you yet. Well, why not? Well, something happened with the city, and the state wants to make sure that they're giving it right to somebody who needs it, and we just don't want to give it over because we don't want to get an indictment and all that stuff. So it slowed us down as a neighborhood. But being a community-izer as I am, I had to make sure that my neighborhood said, okay, we'll wait. We'll be very comfortable. And in the background, I'm sitting there saying, hey, listen here, Mayor Liaison. Y'all need to hurry up and get this together. Now, I know that federal stuff ain't got nothing to do with us, so I need y'all to get this taken care of. Oh, well, Patrice, it's just the way the process is. Being the community organizer that I am, I know the process. So quit playing with me. Let's do it. So we finally got them to come to this meeting. We had to go upstairs to 25th floor and go meet all of these different boards and tell them our plan and make sure everything was okay. And they said, okay, great. You can have it. We'll do a signing over of the papers next month. So that was in September. So now we finally have our property, right? Hands, yay. We have our property. So now it's time to bring in the funds to get the things going. So now we got to talk to the churches. I forgot to do that at the beginning, being the community organizer that I am. So KIB said, okay, we got a lot of trees for you. We'll bring you some trees. So I was like, okay, but what about the other stuff? I don't know about the other stuff. That's a lot of stuff you want. So now I got to go to the churches and say, can you please help us? And so they're like, no, we can't. But we are able to work along with other community partners, and we have the Clarion Health that's going to help us out. We have Marion College that's going to help us out. We have Flanner House that's our fiscal agent. We have the schools that's really ready to help us and develop our park. So we're going to have, hopefully by 2014, and you all invited, and you can tell your first story in our story place that sits up in the corner just for the little kids. In 2014, we're going to break ground on our park that's going to have a storytelling place. It's going to have a basketball court that nobody wants, but hey, they drew it, so I guess we're going to have it. It's going to have some benches. It's going to have a little kid spot for my new 11-month-old baby. So she'll get to play on her little bouncy thing. And we're going to do some recyclable, like, stands and bouncy gyms and jungle gyms where the kids can climb on tires and stuff. So we're working on it. But it took us a while, but it was determination to keep going. And being the community organizer that I am, I never gave up. Thank you.